The infection rate starts to drop in our health unit. Gravenhurst opens its beaches tomorrow. And a memorial scholarship keeps a local artist's memory alive. All that and more coming up right now. Welcome to Cogeco News for May the 28th. I'm James Bowler with what's happening in your community. And to our top story, good news for Muskoka. All confirmed cases of COVID-19 are now officially clear as the 17 people who survived the virus out of the 18 affected have recovered. There have also been no new confirmed cases in Muskoka for about 2 weeks. And as well, the Simcoe Muskoka District Health Unit has only confirmed 7 infections of the virus in the last 3 days. The health unit is providing another update to the media on the current situation tomorrow. So look for that on our Facebook page, Your TV Muskoka. Now, the town of Gravenhurst will be easing current restrictions to certain recreational amenities, including beaches. Gravenhurst Mayor Paul Kelly tells us more about that.
This coming weekend, the beaches in Gravenhurst will be open. Gull Lake Park and Muskoka Beach Park and so on, to allow people to be able to use them. But at the same time, the recreation parts of those parks, like the children's playgrounds, the baseball diamonds, will remain closed. The province has extended the emergency until June 9th right now. So that means that there are many of those mandated things like the baseball diamonds and kids playgrounds and that kind of thing are still to remain closed because of the proximity of kids to each other, which does remind us all that if you are going to the beach, that it is important that social distancing that whole criteria of acknowledging the distance between people hasn't changed. That has not changed. And people are going to continue to need to do that. I understand last weekend at Gull Lake Park, there were people actually at the beach when it wasn't even open. And I understand, it was a hot weekend and people wanted to get in the water. But the danger around a large group gathering is that social distancing will be eliminated and people will ignore it. We've seen pictures in Florida and the U.S. of just people all over. We saw an incredibly stressful picture last week in Trinity Bellwoods Park in Toronto, where there were hundreds of people that totally ignored the social distancing. So our hope would be, and I know it would be the provincial hope, but also municipally, that people are going to continue, even if they do come down, that they're going to acknowledge the importance of distancing themselves. And it's a tough one to enforce. We only have a couple of bylaw officers, so it's really difficult to enforce that because we just don't have police officers that can patrol beaches to make sure people are that distance from each other. I mean, if it got that bad, I guess we'd obviously have to do that. And hopefully that's not the case. It really is more a case of people being respectful. But if they're not, you got to go out of yourself and say, I'm sorry, but you need to respect that distance. But the other danger in all of this, Samantha, is that the province is easing up on some of those mandated controls that were there earlier, including businesses and so on. But it won't take much if this thing starts to kick back up again, if COVID-19 gets worse and starts to creep back up again. It won't take much for the province and the medical officers of health to pull things back. So if people don't want to go down that road, the very least that they can do is maintain that physical distancing of 6 feet from each other. Obviously, you're going to have your spouse or your children with you. That's a different story. But it's when you're on the beach and you're with other people, it's really imperative that they maintain that distance.
Well, earlier this week, we heard some details on an independent review of long-term care homes that are coming to Ontario. I had a chat with a local executive. That's coming up next. Welcome back. And as mentioned before the break, the Ford government is moving forward with an independent review into Ontario's long-term care homes, following several horrifying stories coming from a handful of homes in the province. Earlier today, I chatted with Fairburn Executive Director Caroline Zacharuk about her feelings on this investigation and the negativity swirling around all LTC homes.
So Caroline, recently the province has decreed that they are going to run an independent review of all long-term care homes in Ontario. So starting out, I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that, because there was a discussion between running that and the NDP was looking to have a public inquiry done. So what are your thoughts and feelings on that process, and you know, do you think this is the better of the two?
I think that the independent commission is the better way. I think it'll be faster to be able to get some things done and not lose momentum and get bogged down in minutia.
Where does the difference come in for you? This minutia you're talking about, you know, what makes it better?
I think it'll be more timely.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly, the Wettlaufer inquiry took an awful long time. And then, you know, you start to lose momentum with it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the commission, it will start in July, things will get finished fairly quickly, and then changes can be made. I think it will give the public a better sense of the commitment from the ministry to improve things.
Caroline, I want to talk to you about the unfortunate negative light that's being shone on long-term care homes. And I know the problem, this always seems to happen, is that all the eggs are being put in one basket. Everything is being looked at the same, and we know Fairburn is different. You know, there are homes that are better. How does it feel, you know, seeing this negative light just being put on all long-term care homes in the province right now?
I think it's very unfair. For instance, none of the 4 long-term care homes in the Muskoka district have had an outbreak. And I think less than half of the homes in the province have been an outbreak. And many of the homes that have been an outbreak have had a staff member who tested positive, not a resident. So, you know, when you start looking at the real data, it looks quite different. And I think what the the commission needs to look at is what have homes done well, and what can we learn from what didn't work. If you look at the whole process that the ministry put in place around emergency measures and the pandemic, they based it on assuming there would be a surge in hospitals. Mm-hmm. And so hospitals were decanting people to long-term care and retirement homes. The surge didn't happen for hospitals. In fact, you know, people didn't go to hospitals. Unfortunately, some people didn't go to hospitals because when they started going, they were quite ill. And in addition, the PPE that was in limited supply was really focused on getting it to hospitals. So as we've learned and as the situation has evolved and we've learned more about the virus, we now know that it's people in congregate settings, long-term care, retirement, assisted housing, and the homeless that are the most vulnerable. And that's, you know, there are missed opportunities to do that. You can second guess it now in terms of, you know, hindsight's 20/20 vision, but the process was looked at, and as things have changed, the ministry has responded. And I think we have to look at the homes that have done really well. Over half, well, I think there's only about 100 homes in outbreak right now. Others have gone to what they classify as green status, meaning they're not in outbreak. And it's very difficult to paint everyone with the same brush.
So when it comes to this independent commission, I know there's many struggles that care homes are facing. PPE being one of them, obviously. But what are you hoping to come out of it? What are you hoping that the solutions that come forward are outlined towards in these problems? You know, what are the problems you're hoping to, I guess, shine a light on?
I think one of the biggest problems is the funding. The funding formula is broken and has been for some time. And to be able to attract staff and keep staff, we have to be able to pay them a reasonable wage. Bill 124, which was passed, applies to long-term care homes that are not-for-profit. And that means that we can't give our staff more than 1% increase in wages. That's ridiculous. How do you compete with hospitals? How do you keep qualified personnel if you're not paying a living wage?
Yeah.
And, if the new bills of long-term care have to happen, there has to be a good base funding for the homes, and so that you can have the staff. And, I think that's the biggest issue. You have, to have the technology even to do things.
We are taking another break, but when we come back, a temperature check on businesses in Bracebridge. Welcome back. The Bracebridge BIA is trying to figure out new ways to keep customers connected with stores as summer events quickly go down the drain this year. Don't expect to see anything like this scene this summer anywhere in Muskoka, as COVID-19 still keeps public events on a tight leash. Major Bracebridge events like the Father's Day car show just won't cut it this year, as government restrictions are currently keeping social gatherings to 5 people or less, and physical distancing is likely to be sticking around for the rest of the summer. Tracy Larkman with the Bracebridge BIA says it's a reality that's caused them to reshift how they're planning the rest of the summer and into the fall.
Bracebridge is really known for our events. We've got our Father's Day car show that's coming up, that was to come up, and then we have Midnight Madness that attracts around 10,000 people. And the decision basically was with all the restrictions in place and just knowing that, social distancing will be a very important role this summer, we decided to make the decision to place these events on hold. What the fall looks like, I think we'll just have to wait and see, and we'll sort of ebb and flow as COVID-19 changes.
But while we won't be seeing any summer events and the sidewalks look a bit empty, that doesn't mean businesses aren't getting a lot of support still while they find innovative ways to stay connected with their customers.
I think as everybody came to know the reality, we sort of settled into what that was and tried to make our our businesses work. There were a lot that were not online, many without e-commerce websites, but I have to say that the membership has really stepped up and tried to at least get what they could online, because there were definitely customers reaching out. So I have to say that we were really surprised by the amount of locals, our cottage family, that were reaching out and wanted to support. And even if it was just buying a gift certificate that they can use at a later time, it was incredibly humbling to know that people wanted to support.
And we're back to the break, but stay tuned for more after this. Welcome back. If you're looking for employment, you'll likely find no shortage of jobs coming up in Muskoka, and the YMCA is there to help even during this pandemic.
The YMCA has been supporting our shared community for over 15 years now. So getting people work, it's not just one side of it. So we're not just helping individuals who are needing an updated resume or figure out what kind of employment works for them or how do they connect with employers. The other side of that coin is that we work with our employer partners. We get calls now almost daily with employers looking for qualified staff. And let me take this step back a little bit. It's not even so much qualified staff, it's people that they're willing to train. You know, last year, Muskoka, as well as most of the province, endured a little bit of a labor shortage. And I think as important as the CURB or the CRB benefit is to supporting people who are in a little bit of a financial crisis, it's a short-term fix, an important short-term fix. And I think, you know, I applaud the federal and provincial government for what they're doing. But I believe if I'm quoting right, it's a maximum of 4 months of support. It's up to $2,000. And for those that started in, let's say, March, we got April, May, June, July, it's wrapping up, right? And so there are, as you look here, we have jobs posted on our window. Again, we get employers calling daily, and I think the piece that the YMCA plays is that we have a relationship with employers. We have people who are job seeking. It's bringing those two communities together and really helping our economy bounce back, because now more than ever is when we need individuals who are willing and able to work. And again, recognizing that it's a different employment labor market that people have concerns about, and rightfully so if they have people at home with compromised immune or health issues. or are just concerned about making sure they have a safe work environment, that's another piece that we play, is in trying to make sure that the employer partners that we have are good. And for the most part, we've been quite blessed with the employer partners we've had, and we've had a lot of success matching people with the jobs that they want.
The Kiwanis Club of Huntsville is paying tribute to one of our community's late artists with a special student scholarship.
You very rarely see Tom's paintings that are all pretty and green and calm. They always have a mood to them.
One of Huntsville's most beloved artists and the original sculptor of the famed Tom Thompson statue, which sits prominently outside Town Hall, is being recognized through a special memorial scholarship through the Kiwanis Club of Huntsville. Brenda Wayman-Goulet was honored by her two daughters, Hallie and Danielle, during a special check presentation ceremony outside Huntsville High School last week. Hallie Clover spoke about the legacy of her mother being kept alive with this scholarship.
My sister and I are here actually to talk about the scholarship that we're doing in my mother's name. She was a bronze sculptor in town here for 30 years, and she was a big advocate for the arts, obviously, and especially the arts in school. She worked with students all over Muskoka. She taught at the Halliburton School of Art. We grew up with her in our classrooms, things like that. So we really think that she would be honored to continue the arts in the programs. In these tough times, the arts is one of the first things to be cut with funding. So we're very, very honored to be able to keep some scholarships going in her name.
Along with this memorial scholarship, the Kiwanis Club of Huntsville President Martin Mann also presented a check for the Volunteer Appreciation Scholarship.
Second scholarship is for volunteering. And I know that they have to do a certain amount of volunteering to graduate, and someone who does quite a bit, we want to honor that. So. And most people, when they do a lot of extra volunteering, they tend to become part of service clubs, and it's really important that we do our function for the kids, because they are the future. So,
each of these scholarships are worth $500 by the local Kiwanis Club, but have been doubled by matching donations from the Kiwanis Club of Canada. Students will be selected by the school to receive these awards. Well, we're taking our last break, but when we come back, we'll take a look at Muskoka on stage.
Ontario is extending its emergency stay-at-home order, but that just means more opportunity for you to catch great shows from the comfort of your couch. Time for your weekly fill of musical goodness with Hunters Bay Radio's Quarantunes. This week, soothe your stress by tuning in to listen to Canadian singer-songwriter and guitarist Stephen Stanley of the Stephen Stanley Band and formerly of the vibrant alternative rock band The Lowest of the Low. Catch him Thursday night on the Hunters Bay Radio Facebook page starting at 7 p.m. You can also tune in Saturday at 7 p.m. for a performance from the incredibly talented singer-songwriter Angie Nussey, who is no stranger to the music scene in Muskoka. The Essential Concert Series presents Ron Douglas with Richie Benson this Thursday night at 8 p.m. Ron is an award-winning blues player and singer from Rama First Nation. Ron and Richie are a powerhouse of acoustic blues music who will move you and groove you live on the Essential Concerts Facebook page. And a concert that would usually require you to travel to the East Coast is now available to you in the comfort of your home. Nova Scotia's Deep Roots concert, which usually runs in the fall, is moving online this weekend. Deep Roots COVID concert starts Saturday, featuring artists Zachary Miller and Heather Kelday. You can head over to the Deep Roots Music Videos YouTube channel to tune in. And here's a bit of what you can expect from that online concert.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
That's it for this week, but make sure to tune in again next week for some more great virtual shows coming to you soon.
And that is Cogeco News. For more information on the program, head over to yourtv.tv or find us on social media, Your TV Muskoka. Good news for bingo players in Huntsville and Parry Sound. We're bringing back Tuesday Night Bingo next week at 7 p.m. Make sure to get your cards now and get ready to win some money once again. And remember to watch me live at 5, Monday to Thursday, from everyone here at Cogeco News. Thanks for watching. I will see you next week.